Hmm. Good evening, my friends. It is Tuesday, October 7th, about 4:35 in the afternoon. My name is Melissa from Melissa's Struggling Walk with Jesus, and I'm using the Amplified Holy Bible and the Navigator's Bible reading plan to share the Word of God with you. And today I will be sharing Deuteronomy chapters 9 through 12. Deuteronomy chapter 9 starts out with Israel provoked God, and it says, "Hear, O Israel, you are crossing the Jordan today to go in to dispossess nations greater and more powerful than you, great cities, fortified to heaven, a people great and tall, sons of Anakim, whom you know and of whom you have heard it said, who can stand before the sons of Anak? So know today with confidence assurance that the Lord your God is crossing the Jordan before you like a devouring fire. He will destroy them, and he will subdue them before you, and you shall drive them out and destroy them quickly, just as the Lord has promised you. Do not say in your heart, when the Lord your God has driven them out before you, because of my righteousness the Lord has brought me in to possess this land. But because of the wickedness of these nations, the Lord is dispossessing them before you. It is not for your righteousness or for the uprightness of your heart that you are going to possess their land, but because of the wickedness of these nations, the Lord your God is driving them out before you, and to confirm the oath which the Lord swore to your fathers, to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Know without any doubt that the Lord your God is not giving you this good land to possess because of your righteousness. For you are a stiff-necked, stubborn, obstinate people. Remember with remorse, and do not forget how you provoked the Lord your God to wrath in the wilderness. From the day you left the land of Egypt until you arrived in this place, you have been rebellious against the Lord. And at Horeb, Sinai, you provoked the Lord to wrath, and the Lord was so angry with you that he would have destroyed you. When I went up the mountain to receive the tablets of stone, the tablets of the covenant which the Lord made with you, I remained on the mountain 40 days and 40 nights. I did not eat food or drink water. The Lord gave me the 2 tablets of stone written with the finger of God, and on them were written all the words which the Lord had spoken to you at the mountain from the midst of the fire on the day of the assembly. It came about at the end of 40 days and 40 nights that the Lord gave me the 2 tablets of stone, the tablets of the covenant. Then the Lord said to me, Arise, go down from here quickly, for your people whom you brought from Egypt have acted corruptly. They have quickly turned aside from the way which I commanded them. They have made cast a molten image for themselves. Furthermore, the Lord said to me, I have seen this people, and indeed they are a stiff-necked, stubborn, obstinate people. Let me alone so that I may destroy them and wipe out their name from under heaven. And I will make of you a nation mightier and greater than they. Verse 15. So I turned and came down from the mountain while the mountain was burning with fire, and the 2 tablets of the covenant were in my 2 hands. And I saw that you had indeed sinned against the Lord your God. You had made for yourselves a molten calf idol. You have turned aside quickly from the way which the Lord had commanded you. Check out Exodus chapter 32, verses 1 through 10, verse 17. So I took hold of the 2 tablets and threw them from my 2 hands and smashed them before your very eyes. Then as before I fell down before the Lord for another 40 days and 40 nights. I did not eat food or drink water, because of all the sin you had committed, by doing what was evil in the sight of the Lord, to provoke him to anger. For I was afraid of the anger and absolute fury which the Lord held against you, enough divine fury to destroy you. But the Lord listened to me that time also. The Lord was very angry with Aaron, angry enough to destroy him, so I prayed for Aaron at the same time. I took your sinful thing, the calf which you had made, and burned it in the fire and thoroughly crushed it, grinding the metal thoroughly until it was as fine as dust, and I threw its dust into the brook that came down from the mountain. Verse 22. At Taberah also, and at Mesa, and at Kibroth Hattaavah, you provoked the Lord to wrath. And when the Lord sent you from Kadesh Barnea, saying, Go up and take possession of the land which I have given you, then you rebelled against the command of the Lord your God, and you did not believe and rely on him, nor did you obey his voice. You have been rebellious against the Lord from the first day that I knew you. So I fell down and lay face down before the Lord 40 days and nights, because the Lord had said he would destroy you. Then I prayed to the Lord and said, O Lord God, do not destroy your people, even your inheritance, whom you have redeemed through your greatness, whom you had brought from Egypt with a mighty hand. Remember with compassion your servants, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Do not look at the stubbornness of this people or the wickedness, or at their sin, so that the people of the land from which you brought us will not say, because the Lord was not capable of bringing them into the land which he had promised them, and because he hated them, he has brought them out to the wilderness in order to kill them. Yet they are your people and your inheritance, whom you have brought out by your great power and by your outstretched arm. That is all of chapter 9. All right, verse 16 says, And I saw that you had indeed sinned against the Lord your God. You had made for yourselves a molten calf idol. You had turned aside quickly from the way which the Lord had commanded you, where it says calf idol. The selection of a calf god was probably inspired by the Egyptian bull god Apis, or Happus, believed to be a living manifestation of the Egyptian god Ptah. In ancient Egypt, a bull calf with specific markings was selected from the herd and designated and worshipped as Apis. The Apis was the most important of the sacred animals of Egypt. At the age of 28, the Apis bull was sacrificed and buried in a highly structured ritual, and a new bull calf was selected to take his place. Numerous elaborate burial sites containing the Apis bulls have been discovered in Egypt. Both the Greeks and Romans adopted the cultic worship of Apis, and it continued until about AD 400. All right, verse 18. Then as before, I fell down before the Lord for another 40 days and 40 nights. I did not eat food or drink water because of all the sin you had committed by doing what was evil in the sight of the Lord, to provoke him to anger. Where it says what was. Other literature has the evil. From the word evil or other such word is used with the definite article the evil without any contextual explanation. It refers to the evil of seeking salvation by some other way than that which is offered by God. All right, verse 19 says, For I was afraid of the anger and absolute fury which the Lord held against you, enough divine fury to destroy you. But the Lord listened to me that time also. Where it says absolute fury. Other literature has hot displeasure. All right, so we're going to move on to chapter 10. It's where the tablets are rewritten, and it says, At that time the Lord said to me, Cut out for yourself 2 tablets of stone like the first, and come up to me on the mountain, and make an ark chest of wood for yourself. I will write on the tablet the words that were on the first tablets which you shattered, and you shall put them in the ark. So I made an ark of acacia wood, and cut out 2 tablets of stone like the first, and went up the mountain with the 2 tablets in my hand. The Lord wrote on the tablets like the first writing the 10 commandments, which the Lord had spoken to you on the mountain, from the midst of the fire, on the day of the assembly. Then the Lord gave them to me. Then I turned and came down from the mountain and put the tablets in the ark which I had made. And they are there, just as the Lord commanded me. Now the sons of Israel traveled from the wells of the sons of Jachan to Mazarah. There Aaron died, and there he was buried, and Eleazar his son ministered as priest in his place. Verse 7. From there they traveled to Gudgoda, and from Gudgoda to Jotbatha, a land of brooks of water. And at that time the Lord set apart the tribe of Levi to carry the ark of the covenant of the Lord, to stand before the Lord, to serve him, and to bless in his name until this day. Therefore Levi does not have a portion or inheritance at tribal land with his brothers. The Lord is his inheritance, as the Lord your God has promised him. And I stayed on the mountain like the first time, 40 days and nights, and the Lord listened to me at that time also, and the Lord was not willing to destroy you. Then the Lord said to me, Arise, go on your journey ahead of the people, so that they may go in and take possession of the land which I swore to their fathers to give them. And now, Israel, what does the Lord your God require from you, but to fear and worship the Lord your God with awe-filled reverence and profound respect? To walk, that is to live each and every day in all his ways, and to love him, and to serve the Lord your God with all your hearts and with all your soul, your choices, your thoughts, your whole being, and to keep the commandments of the Lord and his statutes, which I am commanding you today for your good. Verse 14. Behold, the heavens and the highest of heavens belong to the Lord your God, the earth and all that is in it. Yet the Lord had a delight in loving your fathers, and set his affection on them, and he chose their descendants after them, you above all peoples, as it is this day. So circumcise, that is, remove sin from your heart, and be stiff-necked, stubborn, obstinate no longer. For the Lord your God is the God of gods and the Lord of lords, the great, the mighty, the awesome God who does not show partiality, nor take a bribe. He executes justice for the orphan and the widow, and shows his love for the stranger, the resident alien, the foreigner, by giving him food and clothing. Therefore show your love for the stranger, for you were strangers in the land of Egypt. You shall fear and worship the Lord your God with awe-filled reverence and profound respect. You shall serve him and cling to him, hold tightly to him, be united with him, and you shall swear oaths by his name. He is your praise and glory. He is your God, who has done for you these great and awesome things which you have seen with your own eyes. Your fathers went down to Egypt, 70 persons in all, and now the Lord your God has made you as numerous as the stars of heaven. That is all of chapter 10 in the book of Deuteronomy. All right, verse 3 says, So I made an ark of acacia wood, and cut out 2 tablets of stone like the first, and went up the mountain with the 2 tablets in my hand. Where it says with. The size of the 2 tablets of stone in which the 10 commandments were written is uncertain. They probably were not great tombstones, sized slabs, like those depicted in works of art, but were likely smaller rectangular plates, 2 of which could be carried by one man. All right, verse 4. The Lord wrote on the tablets like the first writing, the 10 Commandments, which the Lord had spoken to you on the mountain from the midst of the fire on the day of the assembly. Then the Lord gave them to me. Where it says commandments, other literature has words. Verse 9. Therefore Levi does not have a portion or inheritance, a tribal land with his brothers. The Lord is his inheritance, as the Lord your God has promised you. Where it says the Lord. Serving as priests, the Levites were to live off the various offerings presented by the people. Check out Numbers chapter 18, verse 21, Deuteronomy chapter 18, verse 1, and Joshua chapter 13, verse 14. In addition, each of the other tribes set aside cities within their respective territories for the Levites. Check out Numbers chapter 35, verses 1 through 8. Also in verse 9, where it says has promised, other literature says has spoken to. All right, verse 15 says, Yet the Lord had a delight in loving your fathers, and set his affection on them, and he chose their descendants after them, you above all peoples, as it is this day. Where it says had a delight, other literature has strengthened his heart. Verse 17. For the Lord your God is the God of gods and the Lord of lords, the great, the mighty, the awesome God, who does not show partiality nor take a bribe. Where it says God is the God of gods, Hebrew Elohim, the primary word translated God in the Old Testament. The mighty God, the Creator, the great triune God, manifested as Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. Also in verse 17, where it says partiality, other literature has to this day. All right, so that is all the extra in chapter 10. We will move on to chapter 11. The title is Rewards of Obedience. Therefore you shall love the Lord your God and always keep his charge, his statutes, his precepts, and his commandments. It is your obligation to him. Know this day that I am not speaking to your children who have not known by personal experience and who have not seen firsthand the instruction and discipline of the Lord your God, his greatness, his mighty hand, and his outstretched arm, and his signs and his works which he did in the midst of Egypt to Pharaoh the king of Egypt and to all his land, and what he did to the army of Egypt, to its horses and its chariots, when he made the water of the Red Sea engulf them as they pursued you, and how the Lord completely destroyed them, and what he did to you in the wilderness until you came to this place, and what he did to Dathan and Abiram, the sons of Eliab, the son of Reuben, when the earth opened its mouth and swallowed them, their households, their tents, and every living thing that followed them, in the midst of all Israel. Check out Numbers chapter 26, verses 9 and 10. Verse 7. For your eyes have seen all the great work of the Lord, which he did. Therefore you shall keep all the commandments which I am commanding you today, so that you may be strong and go in and take possession of the land which you are crossing over the Jordan to possess, so that you may live long on the land which the Lord swore and solemnly promised to your fathers to give to them and to their descendants, a land of great abundance, flowing with milk and honey. Verse 10. For the land which you are entering to possess is not like the land of Egypt from which you have come, where you sowed your seed and watered it with your foot like a garden of vegetables, but the land into which you are about to cross to possess, a land of hills and valleys, drinks water from the rain of heaven, a land for which the Lord your God cares. The eyes of the Lord your God are always on it, from the beginning of the year to the end of the year. It shall come about, if you listen obediently and pay attention to my commandments which I command you today, to love the Lord your God and to serve him with all your heart and with all your soul, your choices, your thoughts, your whole being, that he will give the rain for your land in its seasons, the early fall rain and the late spring rain, so that you may gather in your grain and your new wine and your olive oil. And he will give grass in your fields for your cattle, and you will eat and be satisfied. Beware that your hearts are not deceived, and that you do not turn away from the Lord and serve other gods and worship them. Or else the Lord's anger will be kindled and burn against you, and he will shut up the heavens so that there will be no rain, and the land will not yield its fruit, and you will perish quickly from the good land which the Lord is giving you. Verse 18, Therefore you shall impress these words of mine on your heart and on your soul, and tie them as a sign on your hand, and they shall be as bands, frontlets on your forehead. You shall teach them diligently to your children, impressing God's precepts on their minds, and penetrating their hearts with his truths, speaking of them when you sit in your house, and when you walk along the road, and when you lie down, and when you rise up. You shall write them on the doorposts of your house and on your gates, so that your days and the days of your children may be multiplied in the land which the Lord swore to your fathers to give them, as long as the heavens are above the earth. For if you are careful to keep all this commandment which I am commanding you to do, to love the Lord your God, to walk, that is, to live each and every day in all his ways, and to hold tightly to him, then the Lord will drive out all these nations from before you, and you shall dispossess nations greater and mightier than you. Every place on which the sole of your foot treads shall become yours. Your territory shall be from the wilderness to Lebanon, and from the river Euphrates, as far as the western sea, the Mediterranean. Verse 25, No man will be able to stand before you. The Lord your God will lay the fear of the dead of you on all the land on which you set foot, just as he has spoken to you. Behold, today I am setting before you a blessing and a curse. The blessing, if you listen to and obey the commandments of the Lord your God, which I am commanding you today. And the curse, if you do not listen to and obey the commandments of the Lord your God, but turn aside from the way which I am commanding you today, by following, acknowledging, worshiping other gods which you have not known. It shall come about, when the Lord your God brings you into the land which you are entering to possess, that you shall place the blessing on Mount Gerizim and the curse on Mount Ebal. Check out Joshua chapter 8, verses 30 through 35. Verse 30, Are they not across the Jordan, west of the road, toward the sunset, in the land of the Canaanites who live in the Arabah, opposite Gilgal, beside the oaks of Moreh? For you are about to cross the Jordan to go in to possess the land which the Lord your God is giving you, and you shall possess it and live in it. And you shall be careful to do all the statutes and the judgments which I am setting before you today. Excuse me. That is all of chapter 11. Verse 4 says, And what he did to the army of Egypt, to its horses and its chariots, when he made the water of the Red Sea engulf them, as they pursued you, and how the Lord completely destroyed them, where it says Red Sea. Other literature says Sea of Reeds. Also in verse 4, where it says completely destroyed them. Other literature has to this day. All right, verse 6 says, And what he did to Dathan and Abiram, the sons of Eliab, the son of Reuben, when the earth opened up its mouth and swallowed them, their households, their tents, and every living thing that followed them in the midst of all Israel. Where it says followed them, other literature has was at their feet. All right, verse 9 says, So that you may live long on the land which the Lord swore and solemnly promised to your fathers to give to them and to their descendants, a land of great abundance, flowing with milk and honey, where it says flowing with milk and honey. This phrase referred to the abundant fertility of the land of Canaan, milk, Typically, that of goats and sheep was associated with abundance. Honey referred mainly to syrups made from dates or grapes and from the epitome of sweetness. Bees' honey was very rare and was considered the choicest of foods. Verse 10 says, "For the land which you are entering to possess is not like the land of Egypt, from which you have come, where you sowed your seed and watered it with your foot, like a garden of vegetables," where it says it with your foot. Egyptian crops were watered by irrigation, so this may refer to simple irrigation device that was operated by the foot, or to the practice of opening and closing small water channels with the foot. Verses 14 and 15 say, "That he will give the rain for your land in its season, the early fall rain and the late spring rain, so that you may gather in your grain and your new wine and your olive oil. And he will give grass in the fields for the cattle, and you will eat and be satisfied." In both verses where it says he will. So some ancient versions and manuscripts read I. All right, so we're going to move on to chapter 12. All right, it's laws of the sanctuary, and it says, "These are the statutes and judgments and precepts which you shall be careful to do in the land which the Lord, the God of your fathers, has given you to possess as long as you live on the earth. You shall utterly destroy all the places where the nations whom you shall dispossess serve their gods, on the high mountains, in the hills, and under every green leafy tree. You shall tear down their altars and smash their idolatrous pillars and burn their Asherim in the fire. You shall cut down the carved and sculpted images of their gods and obliterate their name from that place. You shall not act like this toward the Lord your God, but you shall seek the Lord at the place which the Lord your God will choose out of all your tribes to establish his name there for his dwelling place, and there you shall come to worship him. There you shall bring your burnt offerings, your sacrifices, your tithes, the contributions of your hand, your votive, your pledged, your vowed offerings, your freewill voluntary offerings, and the firstborn of your herd and of your flock. And there you and your household shall eat before the Lord your God, and rejoice in all to which you put your hand, and which the Lord your God has blessed you. You shall not do at all what we are doing here in the camp today, every man doing whatever is right in his own eyes. For you have not yet come to the resting place and to the inheritance which the Lord your God is giving you. When you cross the Jordan and live in the land which the Lord your God is giving you to inherit, and he gives you rest from all your enemies around you so that you live in security." Verse 11. "Then it shall come about that the place which the Lord your God will choose for his name and presence to dwell, there you shall bring everything that I am commanding you, your burnt offerings, your sacrifices, your tithes, and the voluntary contribution of your hand as a first gift from the fruits of the ground, and all your choice votive offerings which you vow to the Lord. And you shall rejoice before the Lord your God, you and your sons and your daughters, and your male and female servants, and the Levite who is within your city gates, since he has no portion or inheritance with you. Be careful that you do not offer your burnt offerings in every cultic place you see, but only in the place which the Lord will choose in one of your tribes. There you shall offer your burnt offerings, and there you shall do everything that I am commanding you. However, you may slaughter and eat meat within any of your city gates, whatever you wish, according to the blessing of the Lord your God, which he has given you as his generous provision for daily life. The ceremonially unclean and the clean may eat it, such as the gazelle and the deer. Only you shall not eat the blood. You have to pour it out on the ground like water. You are forbidden to eat within your city gates the tithe of your grain or new wine or oil, or the firstborn of your herd or flock, or any of your votive offerings, or your freewill offerings, or the contribution of your hand. Verse 18. But you shall eat them before the Lord your God in the place which the Lord your God will choose, you and your sons and your daughters, and your male and female servants, and the Levite who is within your city gates, and you shall rejoice before the Lord your God in all that you undertake. Be careful that you do not neglect the Levite who serves God as long as you live in your land. When the Lord your God extends your territory, as he promised you, and you say, I will eat meat, because you want to eat meat, then you may eat meat, whatever you wish. If the place which the Lord your God chooses to put his name, presence, is too far away from you, then you may slaughter animals from your herd or flock which the Lord has given you, just as I have commanded you, and you may eat within your city gates whatever you wish. Just as the gazelle or the deer is eaten, so you may eat it, but not make it an offering. The ceremonially unclean and the clean alike may eat it. Only be sure that you do not eat the blood, for the blood is the life, soul, and you shall not eat the life with your meat. You shall not eat it, you shall pour it out on the ground like water. You shall not eat it, so that all may be well with you and with your children after you, because you will be doing what is right in the sight of the Lord. However, you shall take your holy things which you have to offer, and your votive, pledged, vowed offerings. You shall take them and go to the place which the Lord will choose. Verse 27. And you shall offer your burnt offering, the meat and the blood, on the altar of the Lord your God, and the blood of your sacrifices shall be poured out on the altar of the Lord your God, and you shall eat the meat. Be careful to listen to all these words which I am commanding you, so that it may be well with you and with your children after you forever, because you will be doing what is good and right in the sight of the Lord your God. When the Lord your God cuts off and destroys before you the nations which you are going in to dispossess, and you dispossess them and settle in their land, beware that you are not lured and snared into following them, after they have been destroyed before you, and that you do not inquire about their gods, saying, how did these nations serve their gods, so that I too may do likewise. You shall not behave this way toward the Lord your God, for they have done for their gods every repulsive thing which the Lord hates, for they even burn their sons and their daughters in the fire as sacrifices to their gods. Everything I command you, you shall be careful to do it. You shall not add to it, nor take away from it. All right, in verse 3, where it says Asherim, this is wooden symbols of the goddess Asherah. In verse 5, where it says name there for his dwelling place, the name of God is equivalent to his gracious presence in passages such as this one. The place where God puts his name is the place where he chooses to dwell. In verse 18, where it says that you undertake, other literature has the putting forth of your hand. All right, so that is all I'm sharing over Deuteronomy chapters 9 through 12. I want to thank each and every one of you for listening, and I hope you have a good day.